to the Space for Kentucky Roundtable. The Space for Kentucky Roundtable is a place to bring together space-focused businesses and enthusiasts so we can learn, discuss, and share insights about the space industry. This provides an opportunity for companies and individuals to come together to grow our space economy. Please take a minute to sign up for the Space for Kentucky notifications so that you are aware of all the amazing things that are coming up. In addition, here is a page of resources and links to help you get space into your classroom. I will add more as I get them. Back on August 31st, we had Kaci Heins, and she had unexpectedly had a Houston flight right before our meeting. So we have invited her back so that she can properly give you the presentation about Limitless Space Institute. And let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about her. Kaci has been in education for about 20 years, and her work has focused on STEM education and space exploration. She is the director of education for Limitless Space Institute, and they inspire and educate the next generation to travel beyond our solar system and support that research and development to enable those technologies to do that. She was the 2020 Alan Shepard Technology in Education Award winner and was recently awarded the Space Station Explorer Exceptional Educator Award. And that's a mouthful. And please welcome Kaci and tell us a little bit about Limitless Space Institute.
Yes, thank you so much, Izzy. I appreciate you extending this invitation out and to be here. I know my last session was cut a little bit short because of an awesome trip to Houston. It's always fun to visit Space City because there's a lot of amazing things happening. And so what I'd like to do today is share a little bit about our educational resources and how we can get into classrooms, how we can get in front of teachers to help inspire the next generation of explorers and our future workforce. So if it's okay with you, I'll share my screen. Okay, fantastic.
Make sure there you go.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so we do have this really cool website. This is showing our mock-up of what an interstellar spacecraft would look like. So it is designed on actual science, physics, engineering by our head physicist, our head of advanced R&D, Dr. Sunny White. So we do take those concepts at the Limitless Space Institute that sometimes seem like science fiction, but are actually reality. And through LSI, we help fund academia around the world to those that are doing research on advanced power and propulsion, such as solar sails, laser propulsion, nuclear to electric, and as you can see from this video, even something like warp drive, because it's our goal to be interstellar explorers by the turn of the century. So, you know, the clock is ticking, but I think it's the most amazing adventure that you could be a part of. And just like we saw with the Wright brothers trying to build something that would actually fly, we're trying to build something that will actually go interstellar. So on our website, as you can see, we're here to inspire, educate, and conduct research. You did a fantastic job of going over our mission statement. You can learn about the grants and fellowships that we support, amazing research around the world. It's absolutely incredible. And that's what we like to bring, those concepts that seem very high level and abstract and science fiction. And my job is to take those concepts and design lessons and professional development for teachers to bring that to reality and bring it in front of students to see, hey, these are actually jobs that you could be a part of. And these are missions that you maybe could be an engineer, a scientist, an astronaut, or maybe you could be a doctor or a lawyer or accountant, because space exploration includes everybody. They're like small cities, and you have to have something for everybody to be able to contribute to the mission. So there's lots more ways than just an astronaut or a scientist or engineer, and we really like to highlight that. So on our education page, what we have are 4 main categories: our outreach, our educators, our lab booster grants, and our lesson plans. And so we're very passionate about education. I've been in education for over 20 years and in the classroom and out of the classroom. And there's just such a need for support for teachers to get high quality professional development along with resources to get in front of their students. It's such a significant need, and we want to offer that to them. So teachers are always going to be my heart, my passion. And so that's why they are the main focus of our education program, are the teachers. But we also offer outreach. We can make arrangements to come to schools. I'm actually going to one of our Limitless Educator schools this October to do hands-on lessons with their students. So we can do half day, full days, virtual, or in person. You can also request Dr. White or anyone else at our facility to be able to talk with students about STEM careers and about our mission. And then there's our educators. So as of right now, as we're speaking, today is the deadline for our educator application program. So every year we're going to bring on more teachers to be involved in some really high level, really immersive programming to make sure that they can not only just hear about all these amazing things, but to see and touch. So we bring them to Houston so they can see the lab, they can get hands-on with the materials and make those connections and aha moments so they can take that back to the classroom and have those aha moments and then see it in their students. So it's really exciting. And so we had a webinar, and we have our class of 2023, and we're going to be adding 5 more here at the end of October. And so we bring them to Houston in February for the Space Exploration Educator Conference, where you just are immersed for 3 days in nerdy awesomeness, all tied to space and STEM. You can do tours of NASA, you can do tours of LSI. So we offer tours during that time for educators. And usually we're presenting. I know a lot of our educators, after what they've learned this past year, have submitted to be presenters at this conference so they can share out all the amazing things that they have developed this past year under the Limitless Space Institute. So it's very exciting. So we also will have an announcement in a few weeks about another program we're implementing. It's very exciting. It's really global, and that's what space exploration has to be if we're going to want to go further and faster. And we have to work together. So stay tuned for that announcement here soon. And then we have our Lab Booster program, which, oh, yes.
Tell them how to stay tuned.
Yes, that's a great point. Thank you, Izzy. So to stay tuned, you can follow our social media, X, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. We'll be making a formal announcement on October 13th about our latest and greatest program and collaboration. So, and also on our website, we'll have a whole new webpage designed specifically for this program. So we're very, very excited. And so now what we're doing is taking a look at our Limitless Lab Booster program. And what this is being able to offer teachers opportunities for support for funding. So as a teacher in the classroom the last few years, it's just really hard to get money from the school to actually buy resources, supplies, technology. So a big passion of mine was to have a grant application program through LSI so that if teachers have things that they need for their classroom, they could apply by submitting, what the need is, how much it's going to cost, how it's going to benefit the students, school, community. And as you can see here, we have our 2 from this last year, 2022. And so it goes into a little bit of detail with laser cutters that that Nick asked for and did amazing things with his students. Ashley bought drones and robots and sensors to do with her girls at an all-girls school. So they're really fantastic. So, even if you're a teacher and not sure if you'll get a full grant, go ahead and try. All you can do is try. Maybe we'll partially fund it, and maybe you can apply again later. So there's no rules or restrictions for that. All you can do is ask, and then we will do our very best to support you. And then we have our lesson plans. So this is where teachers can come and download everything they need. We have a small library, but part of our objective this past summer was to have our teachers in Houston design new lessons tied to our mission so that we can start populating this library. Because I'm just one person, a one-person team, but we have 20 rock star teachers. So they're putting all those together. So by November, we should have those ready to go. They're going to get their final submissions and we'll have them here on our website. But so far, we have our communication team building. There's about 5 different activities in the communication team building because that's so important, whether you're going into space and exploration and dealing with exploration, or if you're just in the classroom. These are good start of the year activities to help get those icebreakers, get to know, your desk mate or people in your class. So it really focuses on how you communicate and collaborate and solve problems together, which can be applied to any aspect of life. That's an easy one. Our solar sail engineering design challenge is our favorite. It's really, really good. And it focuses on the engineering design process. It talks about Newton's laws, transfer of energy. It's really a fantastic lesson that everyone seems to love, whether you're kids or teachers. It's really an awesome hands-on lesson. And then we're almost done with asteroid scouting mission, which was a huge hit this summer with teachers too. So we're just putting the finishing touches on that. So stay tuned in November, which we will again post on social media once those new lessons are live. Everything's included, standard alignment. I'm having the teachers develop PowerPoints to go with the lesson plan because being back in the classroom the last few years, teachers don't have time to design the lesson, the PowerPoints that go with the lesson and all the things. So our goal is to have everything put together in a nice package with a bow on top. So all you have to do is buy some cheap, we try to make them cheap supplies, easily accessible, like straws, paper clips, use MacGyvering everything together. So it's easily accessible, it's easy to implement. And, the cherry on top is that you can just take it and run with it and your kids will get an immersive experience out of it. So that's the whole thought process behind it, designed by teachers for teachers. And so that kind of sums up our education program, Izzy. And do you have any questions for me?
Well, and you talked about the lesson plans, and I know in Kentucky there's like a universal code situation where each lesson plan has to have a certain code that's attached to it. Do these lesson plans have that?
I don't recall the code. I'll have to look into that. I mean, every lesson does have to have the standard, which does have a number,
Yes, that's what I'm
like
talking about. Yeah.
ES, 3-3. Yes, those are definitely within all the lessons. So, and we try to cover everything from elementary through high school. So it doesn't matter what age level you're teaching at. We try to make our lessons also differentiated. So you could go easy for the younger kids down to a certain level, and then you can make it much more complex for up to high school. So yes, all of the standards are aligned across grade bands.
And do you, since we are not pressured right now for, we with a lot of for time,
Yeah.
do you want to talk a little bit about the grants that the teachers can access, because that is a big thing. I know I interviewed one particular teacher for a project, and she was a high school teacher. She had 5 classes, and one of which was chemistry. And she was given $375 for the entire year for all 5 classes. So this is a very big problem for teachers to actually get the money that they need to be able to do these classes effectively. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. And I can completely relate because when I was back in the classroom the last 2 years, 2 years ago, the school I was at, they said, and the principal was so excited saying, oh my gosh, we can give you $250 for the year. And I'm like, what? That is not a lot, especially for science when you have consumables or chemicals, or you might need some technology. I had spent that by September because I teach through hands-on experiences. So honestly, I spent probably around $1,000 of my own money that year, and definitely out of pocket probably another 300 to 400 last year at my other school. They were able to support a little more, but it's such it varies so much between school districts and what they can offer. I did a lot of donors choose projects where you can get crowdfunding for those. I've asked parents, I have sticky notes at the open house, night where they can say, okay, I'll buy rulers, I'll buy, sugar and this, all these things that I need. And they'll just take a sticky note and send it to school with the kiddos. But absolutely, it is a very challenging obstacle to overcome. Even with grants, like the AIAA has $500 grants, Civil Air Patrol has $500 grants, along with STEM kits that they can acquire for their classrooms. So there are some resources, but sometimes you have to wait for those. You have to apply, and even if you get it, you have to wait. And if you don't get it, then that's always hard. It's crushing sometimes, but the same is with us. You can apply. It's always worth the effort to apply for that. So we have the application that you can click on and submit. It's just a basic form, and tell us about yourself, your school, and then answer some questions about what you want to do. It can take a little bit of time, but we really want a clear picture of the impact that you're going to have on your students. That's really, really important. And then we also have a budget document. We want to see how you're going to spend the money. And we do ask that your administrator sign off on that, just so we know that you have the support of your principal, assistant principal, curriculum director, someone that says, yes, you're going to spend the money in this way. And if you get it, we'll send you the check for that. And we have a pretty quick turnaround time, which teachers do appreciate that.
Absolutely. And let's unfold that a little bit. And is this strictly for the school system, or because I focused on educators, that could be youth groups, it could be libraries. There's a lot of other programs that work with kids in science. So is this strictly for schools, or can other programs actually apply for it?
That's a great question. And it can be schools or any sort of education institution. If you're formal or informal, if you have a great idea and we can see a significant reach and impact on students in the community, then we'll definitely consider it. And if you get it, awesome. We just ask that you report metrics, how many kids did you impact? If you can get demographic information, that's great. Pictures, video will help share all that awesomeness on social and on our webpage. So that's definitely, we want to make sure we have a big impact for sure.
Absolutely, because it's so important. And I got a little bit of disturbing news today when I was working with somebody at the library system, that there are some schools now that in fourth grade don't have science.
Yes, I have heard that. I've even heard of some schools, out west that they don't teach science, and it's very disheartening, because we want a entire nation that is able to make really good decisions based on being able to decipher evidence and looking at variables and making, forming conclusions and knowing how to get that data or evidence, or even being able to interpret graphs and charts to show whether it's climate change, temperature rise, sea level rise, whatever. We need to have students that understand how to break that down to start with, and then be able to form conclusions or ask more questions. So as a science professional, it's mind-blowing, because in my opinion, everything should be taught through science phenomena. You can integrate reading, writing, math so easily through science, and the natural world is what inspires kids in general. There's so much wonder and curiosity and imagination just going outside, and a lot of times we keep them inside in a box, and it kind of breaks down creativity, and we need to have more creativity, problem solving, thinking outside the box. So it's absolutely heartbreaking, because I really think everything should be taught through science, not kicking it out.
Well, and here's my I'm like totally shocked that this is even happening. And as a parent, you hear STEM, 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 STEM. STEM is everywhere. Let's get STEM more into it. Well, we need more STEM employees. We need more STEM talent. And then they kick it out of the school. Where are the kids supposed to get it? And my biggest concern is that they're kicking it out at a critical time in the development of these students that really gets them excited about it. And by the time that they finish 8th grade, they have to decide what track they're going to go on in high school. So you have pretty much made it to where it's almost impossible for them to pick a STEM career unless they're getting it outside of the school. So,
Yeah.
that was, I found very disturbing. And so any enlightenment on what we can do to actually change this trajectory?
That you brought up so many great points because there is a huge STEM initiative, but from the top down, from our government, from the president, Department of Ed, for STEM, and we hear that from the industry as well. Like they need more people that are qualified and have the skill sets to fill these roles. We're going to have millions of STEM positions open by 2030 and nobody to fill them. It is putting our country in a really tough spot where we need to invest in education. And over the years that I've been a teacher, I just see more budget cuts, more kids in classrooms pushing 30, and we're going against everything that what I learned in school we should be doing. We need smaller class sizes, we need more hands-on, we need more real world application exposure to STEM careers. So it is so challenging. And if that was to happen with my son, if he wasn't getting science, the only thing I can think of is go talk to the school board, speak up and say science is not something that should be cut from the curriculum of what our children are getting. That's an incredibly important piece of their education. And like you said, by middle school, that's where all the research shows that by the time they get there, if the inspiration is there, they're going to keep pursuing that along their pathway. But 4th grade is definitely a key age where, gosh, they should be getting science 100% because they are so curious and their imaginations are just going in a million directions, and they should be reading fiction and nonfiction. So it's very tough just getting engaged, speaking up, and get science back in there.
Oh my gosh, yes. And let's get it where they can get it too. And I was talking with the library system today, and that will be a place that I encourage that development as well. So awesome answer. So I was afraid I was going too much onto the political stage there, but it like knocked the wind out of me. I'm like,
yeah,
you're kidding. You're
yeah.
kidding. Oh, so
It was a teacher friend in California that told me that they had cut out science in some of the elementary grades, and I was just heartbroken. And she's like, there's nothing I can do. And I'm like, there's got to be something. Like it's such a critical area. And it just,
who's making these choices? That's what I want.
I have no idea. I have no idea. But yeah, I need to look into it further to see, is there something we can do? Can we write a letter? Can we, get involved some way? Because it's mission critical, absolutely mission critical for our country.
For our country, yes, absolutely. Because, the workforce is screaming right now that they don't have enough people. And so it's just, it's odd. It's an odd thing to take out. I mean, it's one thing to take out cursive writing, which I don't agree with either. But this is fundamental. This is one of our major building blocks. And if we don't develop people that are STEM proficient, what are we teaching them to do? What are they going to grow up to be? And that concerns me. So
absolutely,
one of the
they
reasons
want to be YouTubers, they want to be influencers. Even my son was in that position. He's like, I'm gonna make a YouTube channel and I'm going to make lots of money by like so and so. And I'm like, the amount of the percentage, like professional sports, the amount that actually make it and make substantial amount of money off those careers is so small. And it's a lot like what you do, marketing, like being able to send the message out there, but constantly, if they're doing these YouTube and Instagram things all the time, trying to be influencers. So it's the real work is, and I think they need a little bit of grit. They're losing their sense of grit and hard work, and yeah, it's kind of challenging and a little scary, honestly.
And the problem solving, that is one of the things that I think is so important to develop, is the ability for people to solve challenges. A lot of what we have is organized time, and so we need unorganized time so that they can sit there and figure out how to solve something. Because when you're on your way to Mars and something goes wrong, you kind of need to actually have that skill set in order to figure out how to fix it so that you can move on. So problem solving, I think, is a very important thing. And that's one of the things I love about Limitless, and all of what you do is it's problem solving too.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I love about Limitless is there's so many new problems, but also a lot of the similar problems of space exploration in general. And we need people to be able to solve those, not only for low Earth orbit, going back to the moon, Mars, but definitely going interstellar when we have to be away for so long and so far. Can't go to Walmart, pick up a new part, you got to be able to be self-sustaining. But even making decisions on a day-to-day basis, a lot of people don't realize you're problem solving all the time. But I see it even, I'll bring up my son again, when he comes up against an obstacle, and this may be from COVID and everything too, I feel like I have to help him figure out, how do you work the problem backwards and find a solution and not freak out either or blame someone else. It's like, own the problem, figure out your steps and come up with a solution, try it. And then that's the engineering process. If it doesn't work the first time, redo, retest, and try again. It's all those same processes, and I think we do it a lot of times every day without realizing it. But this generation, and it just being back in the schools, it was interesting to see that some of the students need a little extra. And I'm wondering if it's residual of COVID.
It was a tough time, and tough time all the way around for parents and for kids, and a lot was lost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed. So hopefully we can get on the right track again. I've had some teachers say that it's getting better year after year. So hopefully we're on that path.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing your resources with us today, and staying a little extra and getting a little bit more questions than I think that we were planning on doing. But and please like and subscribe to the Space for Kentucky, and join us next time. Thank you.
Thanks, Izzy.
Okay, don't leave. So that's just the end of the recording.
Yeah.
I want to sincerely thank all the presenters tonight. Courtney Black, Dr. Deepika Sangam, Kaci Heins, Dr. Mark Wagner, and Robert Ion. Thank you so much for spending your night with us and sharing space. Please take a minute and sign up for Space for Kentucky notifications. And one last time, here's the website where you can get the resources that we discussed tonight and more. We will add, if you have more, please send them to me and we will get them on there. I hope that you have found this evening enjoyable and inspirational. And I hope it has inspired you to reach for the stars.